I think I do. Is Baker coming back to life now since Mike Evans is hurt?
Yeah, I haven't been keeping up with that game too much, but I've seen Mark Andrews come back to life in that one.
He did. He did come back to life, Mark Andrews. It's just like he fell off a cliff, but I feel like everyone, me included, forget like the injuries he's had. So I
Hmm.
guess it just, that type of shit catch up to you when it's I think it was like lower body injury, right?
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Mark Andrews specifically, but I know he has been battling a lot throughout his career. So, was it
Yeah.
like a hamstring or ankle
I
related?
want to say it's something like that. He's a dog though for the well, he was for the Ravens, and like it's like he's trying to get back to that point now. You
Hmm.
feel me? You
Yeah.
feel me? But man, how was your? As for everybody who don't know, last week we wasn't here, but it was David's birthday. And how was your birthday, man? Happy birthday to
And
you.
it was a fun time. We celebrated. Went to a crab house. Got myself one of them giant boils where they have to make
Okay.
you wear gloves and shit while
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
eating it, and
yeah,
it was
yeah.
delicious. It was wonderful.
Those do be slapping, man. But I'm glad you had a good birthday, man. You showed me the present that you got.
Yeah, yeah. The soon-to-be wife surprised me with Bears tickets. First Bears game ever against the Minnesota Vikings. I want to say it's week 12, and
Yeah, I
that
think so.
that should be a fun one, man. I'm
It
excited
definitely
for it.
should.
And if we're
Uh,
gonna beat them, we're gonna beat them at home, right? That's my
yes,
logic. So,
yes. I do think, and we're gonna talk about it. But I think they're coming back down to earth, but they're still a good team.
mhm.
I think they're still a good team. I still think so.
I
But
was surprised though that the Lions, without Aiden Hutchinson, looked like they didn't miss a beat. And I
yes,
don't
for
know.
sure on offense,
On
for
offense,
sure.
yeah. On defense, it wasn't so much, but I guess I kind of look at it differently when the Vikings O line has been so good that
Hmm.
you know
Hmm.
it's going to be tough
No, I
either
hear
way.
you.
Maybe Aiden makes it a not so close game. Who knows?
No, absolutely. No, I hear you. But yeah, man, everybody, welcome back to Bears Weekly with Jay and David. Man, we're gonna recap last week. We gotta recap the Bears, their domination of the Jags, and give my thoughts. I definitely want to know what David's thoughts are. I still haven't asked him. I know his thoughts, but I haven't got it on wax yet. But man, yes. I don't even remember what the damn what was the final score, 35 to
I just
16.
pulled it up. Yeah, 35-16. Caleb had 4 touchdowns. I don't know the last time a rookie's done that.
Maybe Cam. What did Cam Newton have in his rookie debut? Did he have?
I'm sorry, I meant Bears rookie. Bears rookie was
Oh, okay. I
back
don't think no
in the
Bears.
70s or 60s, but
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, man. I don't think no Bears. Listen. He's already he already better than Mitch. He's already better than Justin. He's better than Jay Cutler. All that already through 6 games. I've seen enough of that to know that. You know what I'm saying? But um, man, the Bears are clicking. I know a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are trying to say like they're not playing nobody, and this. Listen, you only can play who's in front of you, but you know we've seen we've had last year the Bears played the Panthers. Was it an easy game?
no.
Hell no, it wasn't no easy game. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
think we were one of their 3 wins all year.
I think
Did we lose to them? I forget if we lost to them or not.
did we lose to them? No, we beat them.
Oh.
We beat them. We beat them, but it wasn't
But it was stressful. It was
yes, that's what I'm saying. Like
that's new
I
for us for this to not be so stressful.
yeah, I think like the last 2 weeks against the Jaguars and the Panthers, this is like a step you take, I feel like, as a team in any sport where you start dominating teams has no business to be on the field or court with you. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm looking at this. Like, yes, I get who the teams are, but and we're gonna talk about the Commanders, but the Commanders kind of like have like the same bunch of wins. Like I get the Bengals, they beat the Bengals on the road, but I know that holds some weight, but it's still the Bengals. This ain't the Bengals from when they went to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I just think like that's a step we never 2 weeks in a row we was able to sit back and be like, yeah, this was a domination on both sides. All three levels was a domination.
And it
Maybe
doesn't get
more.
boring either. I don't know. Some people get bored when their team's dominating because it's like, okay, well, here you go. No, absolutely not. I first of all, Caleb's 2 throws to Keenan Allen were the best of his career so far,
Elite,
in my
elite
opinion.
throws, bro.
I mean, one of them he's got the zip on it. It was down the inseam, and then he's got the fade right to
Mm-hmm.
the left side of the end zone for Keenan. And I mean, like we talked about from the Panthers game, it's being able to combine the touch with the velocity, and it seems like he's figuring out very quickly which situations warrant your film style. So very excited.
I saw somebody say, like, man, I thought Caleb had more zip on the passes. And I was like, honestly, that's the first couple of games. He was just throwing that shit in there and throwing that shit. He had no touch.
Yeah.
It's like he was trying to show off his strong ass arm. You know what I'm saying? That's what it seemed like. But now he's getting that touch. You know, he's learning that touch. Like, even at that pass to Keenan, the first touchdown pass to him, the anticipation, like, when Keenan turned around, the ball was right here already.
Oh yeah, I mean, and props to him for even being able to catch it, because a lot of guys, I mean, we saw it a couple times this weekend where it's hitting them right on the numbers and bouncing off. So it leaves a lot of room for excitement, for sure.
It does. I know people were saying, like, well, the Jaguars don't have that good of a secondary. I'll be honest with you. The where Caleb put that ball, it's not going to be too many cornerbacks that's going to be able to stop it. If you have the cornerback on this shoulder and you throw it on this shoulder, and he has to, no corner is going to be able to get. I just don't think no corner is going to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe would be able to defend a little bit better, maybe because they're a better corner, but that's how great defense be good. Great offense be a good defense in that moment. So it's like, you see the growing of Caleb from week 1 to this bye week.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a whole nother feel. He look how much he has control over the line of scrimmage. That is amazing.
Yeah, that's another one too. Just being able to identify those blitzes. I mean, he's gotten better and better with that, because teams know that the way they're going to beat the Bears is by blitzing them. And the moment that Caleb, or the offensive line, I think as a whole, as a unit, has been able to identify those a little bit better. I'm liking what I'm seeing. The adjustments from Chris Morgan, the adjustments from Shane Waldron. It's a sight to see, and I'm very happy for it. I'd also like to touch on that Shane Waldron just real quick. JSN, I saw somewhere he's got more air yards on targets this year than Jamar Chase and Stephon Diggs. He's got more targets. Oh, gosh. There was a couple of alpha wide receivers where he's getting the targets and he's getting deep balls thrown his way. And his production, he's like wide receiver 40 on the year. And it made me think about our, week 1 conversation about JSN and Shane Waldron, how he's kind of throwing shade this way. Was it Shane Waldron's fault? I don't know. And again, I sound very biased asking this now.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020. But it's just a coincidence that Shane Waldron is continuing to develop week to week. Granted, we need to see the competition get a little bit better. But meanwhile, JSN's kind of it's feeling like he's plateaued early in his career. I don't know if Lockett needs to get out of there or what, but right now it's not aging too well. JSN.
It's not. And I also think it's like that's a quarterback thing too. And going on in Seattle, I feel like Geno is back to like. I mean, it's only so you're not gonna be able to just dominate year after year. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're elite, there's only so many players that's gonna be able to do that year in, year out. So I do feel you on that on his take though of what he was saying, because like you can't be alluding to something about a coordinator and then you come out this season and you're just.
That's where I'm at with it, because he had all of us sold. I think you, me, the rest of Bears Twitter is like, oh man, Shane Waldron's going to be a problem, and we were all coming for his throat weeks 1 through 4, and we're seeing development. That's all we've asked for. I think that's
we've seen the development. We're seeing them adjust. That's the one thing we're seeing them adjust, and like this defense is for real. Like it is just it ain't even just this season. It goes back to last season. Like when he got since they got Montez Sweat, this defense has been completely different. So.
Yeah,
I'm just really excited. Like going into a bye week after 2 dominating wins like that was just amazing. You get to relax, and then it was like we got to win early in the morning where you had the rest of the day
Yeah,
to just watch
those
football
are the
with no
best.
problem. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to worry about is my team gonna win. You have a win already. Already. So man, yeah, like I don't want to talk too long on that since that game was last week. We got the Commanders coming up, but man, like how you feeling about this Bears team, man?
Um, so as you mentioned, we're going into the Commanders week. I know a lot of Bears fans on Twitter are excited about that from this rivalry that has involuntarily just kind of crept up on all of us.
Right.
Um,
Seriously.
I don't even think Bears fans and Commanders fans were thinking about this,
No.
before the season started.
I
But
wasn't thinking about this at all. Like to be like, it got flexed. Like, come on, man.
exactly, and it's just like, so going into this week and the Bears coming off of the bye week, I don't know. I was kind of asking myself, I'm like, was this a good time to have a bye week? Was this a poor time to have it? Because I'm like, we're starting to build momentum. We've
Mm-hmm.
got some bad teams following this bye week. And I'm like, man, I wish we could have just kind of kept it going. But then I'm like, okay, we let Jaquan Brisker rest a little bit more coming off that concussion. And we had a couple other guys beat up too. I want to say Tyreek Stevenson was injured at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes, he was.
it's always good to let the guys kind of rest up. But I mean, it's gonna be a long season ahead of us. I almost wish we would have had a later bye week to kind of simmer things down when the schedule ramps up. But overall, I feel pretty confident going into this week against the Commanders. They their team doesn't move me. Their offense and Cliff Kingsbury scheming over there, he has done wonders. What did you think about Marcus Mariota kind of just plugging it in halfway through the first quarter? And I mean, let me go and find his stats real quick because
Cliff Kingsbury, like he don't move me like because like he does like his offenses does this a lot where they start off on fire and then like towards the end like they tail off. But I mean they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, so we're gonna see. Like think about it. You had a defense. Well, the Ravens defense is not like it used to be, but you had a good team in the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? And I know the final score for that game. Like Jay Daniels still played good. The Ravens team is just better.
yeah,
Then they played the Panthers this past week, and then now they got us and the Steelers. So it's going to be interesting because I feel like us and the Steelers are two teams where we hit for real. We play real defense. So that's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be fun to see how Cliff is going to scheme against Eberflus and what's our D coordinator?
oh my, Eric Washington.
Eric Washington. I want to see how that's going to work because I know Cliff is going to be asking Dan Quinn, who is a phenomenal defensive coach, what is Flus trying to do here and there. But I do think that we are the better team, top to bottom. I'm not nervous about this game. I know we can still lose because it's football. We can still lose this game, but I do believe we should go in there and win this game. I do think Jayden's going to play even with the rib situation. I think he just has very, very bruised, sore ribs. But I will say this: hit that man, not illegally, but he gonna give you opportunities to hit him. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not gonna not do zone runs and shit like that. So I do expect if Kyler is healthy and playing, he's gonna be on the spy on Jayden Daniels. I can see that probably going on.
Absolutely.
But put a helmet on them ribs.
Yeah.
Seriously, people might look at that might look at me crazy for saying something like that because this age of football. But that's football, man. I'm not saying go hurt that man or nothing like that.
Rattle him
But
a little bit.
you know what I'm saying, dude? When you tackle him, use your hands to reach off his ribs. And I know he's gonna have a flak jacket on, I'm pretty sure, but he's gotta play because the NFL has flexed this game. Like it has to be like he has a broken ribs and he really can't go. But it's gonna be tough to have a game flex this game. And you got Caleb versus Mariota. We're gonna beat that ass if it's Mariota. I'll tell you that right now. Like I'm confident going to this game. Would it be in Jayden? But if we get Friday and they say breaking news, Marcus Mariota is starting for the Commanders, we are whooping their ass.
Yeah. I look at this team here, the Commanders, and with Cliff Kingsbury, right? There's the whole narrative of this being a college offense. They're trying to make easy throws to the right-hand side, high completion rate.
Yeah.
I mean, Marcus Mariota stepped in and went 18 for 23. He had 200 yards, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's a scheme that tells me that it is very simple, which is good for a rookie. It's good. And so it's like, okay, you've got this simple scheme here for Jayden to identify. He's pretty much Marcus Mariota. If he showed us anything, he's able to run this offense just like Jayden does, except Jayden's got a better deep ball. If we're being honest, that's probably what separates the two. And I like Jayden's wheels a bit better as well. But I don't know that they play him this week. If I'm being honest, if I'm the Commanders, I understand you want the publicity. You got flexed into a great time slot because they want to see this matchup. But it's like, you got to think this is your long-term asset. You just spent a 102 pick on him. Do you really want him being out there? I won't be surprised if they say, hey, we're benching you for the Bears and the Steelers and maybe they don't do that. It's just with the rib injury. I mean, you'd hate to see it. If you're a Commanders fan, you would hate to see him get hurt further. And the way I'm looking at it, I know a lot of Bears fans are kind of like, we want that Caleb versus Jayden matchup. I just want to fucking win. At the end of the day,
seriously.
Like because I did not care about this rivalry before the season, so I'm not going to care about it now. Truthfully, I want to just take care of business like we know we should be able to do, and I want to move on to next week because I'm only looking forward with this team. And when I look at Jayden Daniels, I like him. I think he's going to be a good player. I think the only reason the narratives have even spiraled out of control is because of Twitter being Twitter, and so I mean. I don't know. I like Caleb. I like Jayden. I don't know that there's a quarterback from this class that I genuinely don't like yet.
Bo Nix.
You don't like Bo Nix at all?
I didn't like him in college, so that's probably why I like.
Yeah, I guess it's more so. I think that he could kind of I think his ceiling is like a watered down Baker Mayfield.
I know what I think. I also think it's the fact that his coach is Sean Payton, and Sean Payton.
I don't like Sean Payton.
And Sean Payton made it seem like he got over on everybody because he got Bo Nix. Like, he's that guy who always thinks he's the smartest guy in the room all the time. You saw the war room when they picked Bo Nix. It was like they picked Caleb. It was just like it was just crazy how it was. So I'm like, whatever. But I was like the only quarterback. But this is a good quarterback class. I ain't gonna lie. Like, even though the Patriots suck, Drake has looked good. They lost to the Texans and the Jaguars. That's how I know they suck. The Jaguars is not a good team.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars offense is a bit more seasoned, so they still have Christian Kirk. Yeah. Brian Thomas looks like a legit player. They've still got Evan Ingram. They've got some guys on offense that move me over the Patriots. But I like Drake May long term more than I thought I would be saying after 2 starts. And then, we got to see a little Michael Penix action earlier this weekend. I think he played like 1 drive or something.
Yeah, I gotta go back and look at some of them games. Some of them games yesterday, would it be in the bye week? I watched some games, but we ended up going to like the Pumpkin Farm. So I was watching games, like checking out scores and stuff like that, but I wasn't really locked in. The first part of the day I was, but then like them afternoon games, I was out of it. I did not.
Yeah, bye week is the week you take care of all that stuff. The formalities of fall.
yes. I was like, you were a real one for planning pumpkin patch day on Sunday on bye week. So that was amazing. But I didn't even realize Michael Penix even got in the game. But they did get their ass kicked though by who was it?
Oh gosh,
Seattle beat the shit out of the Falcons in Atlanta. I'm like, what the.
I was not expecting that at all.
No, I wasn't. That's to see, and those be the things like that scares you about when people like we supposed to win on Sunday. Yeah, we are, but we're still in that frame of like it's just the Bears. Like we don't know. Like, but this is the fun part of taking steps or jumping forward, like growing as a team, like dominating teams, and now you supposed to go on the road and beat a team like you. Honestly, well, for our next step, we should go 3-0 the next 3 games.
I'm hoping for it. We have to if we have true aspirations of playoff, just a playoff appearance. You do need to go 3-0 your next 3 games because
You do.
what is the rest of the schedule here?
So while you look for that, so like, look, what did you have the Bears for their record at this point? Do you remember what you said?
Oh
I
gosh,
think I had them in like 4-2. No, I had them at 5-1. I had them beating the Colts. So that loss annoys me, but I think I finished them having like 10 or 11 wins. But if you look at it, and we can segue right into talking about their future and our record predictions. But if you look at it, if you want them to get 10 wins, right? I think 10 get you in the playoffs. Especially looking at the NFC. The NFC as a whole is not as good as. It's even worse, probably.
I lost my preseason predictions. I cannot find them, but from what I do recall, I believe I had the Bears either at 2-4 or 3-3.
Really? I think you did. I think you
I
did.
still think that would be the case if the Rams had any of their playmakers. They did not have Cooper Kupp. They did not have Puka Nacua.
Didn't.
Coming into the year, I don't know that we win that game if they've got either of those guys. We won that game 24-18. They easily could have had another touchdown or two if they had their bona fide playmakers. The loss to the Colts, I think I even had that as a win. I think that was my 3-3. So I think I had Titans, Colts, Panthers as my 3 wins, and then I had the Texans, Rams, and Jaguars as our 3 losses. I thought the playing overseas would mess with Caleb a little bit more than it has, but
nothing about the Jaguars scare me. But I hear you though. I definitely hear you. So like, and even if like the playoffs started today, we will actually be the 7th seed playing the Commanders.
Yeah, that would be fun, man. I mean, it's not. I love knowing that we could finish last in this division and still make the playoffs because both can be true. The Bears can be a playoff team, but also not be the best team in the division. Maybe even the quote unquote worst team in the division.
Mm-hmm.
But I love this format in the NFL where, you're able to still make it in a tough division.
I think I'm gonna be honest with you. We got a long ways to go. But the way the NFC is looking, I think the Eagles will come back up to life and still win that division. But I don't know, like the Niners. Even if Christian McCaffrey comes back, I don't think he's going to be the same. Ayuk he tore his ACL and MCL.
Yeah.
Debo went to the hospital today because he has pneumonia and has fluid in his lungs.
They have an indefinite timetable for a return on him, so you don't even know how long he's going to be out.
Right, they're already at 3 and 4. So this might sound crazy, but man, I really do think we have a long ways to go. But I think all 4 teams in the NFC North can make the playoffs.
Yeah, because
I really do think.
We're talking about the second half, right? Because next 3 games: Commanders, Cardinals, Patriots. We agree those are must-win games.
If you win those 3, if they win those 3 and end up being 7-2, we're like damn near a lock for the playoffs. If you just take care of business, if you go 500.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest concern was always going to be the division games. We've got 6 out of our last 8 games are division games.
That's the sucky part.
That is a very sucky part. But I will say, the game against the Niners, December 8th, and then the game against the Seahawks, 12-26. I think that those could be games that are between 2 teams fighting for that playoff spot. Truly. By then, you got to think Seattle, if they're able to upset a team like the Falcons, that moves me a little. I'm not going to lie. I think that they're capable of beating good teams.
I don't know if it moves me.
Their run game, Kenneth Walker is phenomenal. Their defense has also been lacking because they didn't have Byron Murphy, who they just drafted, and he's a stud. I believe he's from Texas. I think that team is a team that is capable of beating anybody. I mean, they almost beat the Lions a couple weeks ago.
I don't think they're coming to Chicago and beating us in December.
Yeah, I think
I don't think that's
think that
happening.
they're going to be playing with a little extra juice because I think by then they're still going to be playing for a playoff spot potentially, especially if
They
the
could
Niners
probably
are
be shit. They probably have the. They might have the NFC West locked up if the Niners keep fucking around, and they
yeah.
won't even have to worry. They would have to worry about seeding at that point, but they will have. I think they will. They could be a top 4 seed because they're gonna be a division winner.
Do you think the Rams have a shot at still
No,
winning the division? If
no,
they get Cooper Cup back and Puka at the end of the year, you don't think they make a miracle run?
no. I have more faith in the Niners to win more games than the Rams.
Okay.
I still have that right now. I do think the Niners window is if it's not closed, it's very close. Not just why I tell people, man, when your teams make it places, you can't be like, man, we got next year. No, you don't. Because the Niners have had the best roster for how long now? And they've lost in the Super Bowl twice.
Yeah. And another crazy thing to think about, and we can talk what ifs all day, right?
Yeah.
But I think when you look at the Niners and what they traded back in 2021 to get Trey Lance, 3 first-round picks to go and get that pick, and the pick was just botched. And I don't even know that it was the Trey Lance's fault, the Niners' fault. Probably the Niners' fault for trading that much to get somebody unknown like that. But you look at what those assets could have gotten them. Now, granted, they landed Brock Purdy. That's wonderful. But you could have had what if Aaron Rodgers was on the Niners the last 2 years instead of the Jets? Just think about that. I mean, the Jets, I think they're trying
I don't think they would have had enough. Would they even have the cap space to even get Rodgers?
Oh, I'm sure they could have thrown extra capital at him. I mean, you got to think. Look at what the Jets gave Rodgers. You take 2 first-round picks and throw it over there. Guaranteed first-round picks, no condition.
Yeah, but what was the money like? That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
That's what. Now you're talking about the cap.
A lot of the money on that. I could have sworn the Packers ate money on that.
Oh, they did. Well,
the Jets because the Jets
had enough. Are dumb. See, that's another thing. The Jets are stupid. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, let's shift on to this. Yes,
I think the Jets are dumb. Like I don't think John Lynch was going to be like, yeah, I'm paying Rodgers' contract. You know what I'm saying? Like or whatever. I do remember hearing something like that, but. We can definitely talk about the Jets real quick. The Jets are dumb. I think it's hilarious. Devontae Adams did all of what he did to get out of Las Vegas and still end up on a 2-5 team.
Yeah. It
real quick, but Rodgers, I saw a thing last night that said Aaron Rodgers has not thrown over 300 yards in 29 straight games. That's a stat you cannot ignore.
This is that last year in Green Bay. He was looking pretty. And granted, it was a year without Devontae.
But he still didn't look the same.
Exactly. That's when the fall off was,
Isn't that when the Lions beat them at home?
Yeah.
The last game of the season? Yeah.
I believe. Or to prevent them from going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just kept the hell out of them. With Rodgers, though, it's crazy because it's like as much as there's an obvious decline. He's getting older. Has he hit that cliff yet? I don't think he's hit the cliff yet. But when we talk about him as a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, he is nowhere near. I mean, if anything, he's probably fringe, later in the top 10, maybe? Fringe top 10? Where would you rank Rodgers right now among all quarterbacks in the NFL? If you're trying to win.
Let's not. You talking about late? You said late 10, so let's go. Mahomes. This is not in order, but Mahomes is definitely number 1. Regardless of what's going on this year, Mahomes is always been number 1 for me. But you got Mahomes, you got Josh, you got Lamar, you got Burrow, you have.
Is Hurts still in there?
Who?
Jalen Hurts.
You have Justin Herbert. You have.
You don't like Jalen Hurts. He said, I'm out on Jalen Hurts. Is Dak Prescott?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not a big Hurts guy. Oh, you got Jared Goff. You got
Jordan Love. Jordan Love's top 10. I'll say it.
Jordan Love is definitely top 10, but he would definitely throw you out of a game.
We'll talk about we're gonna move on to that too, because that's a whole other conversation. CJ Stroud. Is CJ Stroud top 10?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
He's having a sophomore slump. People don't want to talk about, including me, because we all like him, but he's definitely struggling.
He's so likable, but you're gonna give him the benefit
You
of the
brought
doubt.
it up after the Bears lost to them in week 2. You said it. He don't not look the same even though we lost. You said that, and I've been watching that ever since then. Oh shit! Damn, you might be right. Where you put Baker in the top 10 right now?
I mean, Baker's been playing with more tenacity than Rodgers has. He plays out there and he plays like he has nothing to lose, which I love it because he's probably got the most to lose in this league.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a few bad starts away from okay, do we start putting him in the hot seat? But
I guess you could put Rodgers in the top 10. This is the thing before we move on from him. I think the thing with Rodgers is he can still make all the elite throws that you want him to make. But the problem is now he's throwing interceptions, and that's something he never did.
Yeah, I mean, the accuracy, though. We talk about people are dogging Caleb all beginning of the year because of accuracy. And it's like, okay, you look at Aaron Rodgers, and I pointed this out to Ronell when we were watching the London game, Jets and Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Aaron Rodgers is not timing that well. I mean,
he's
Alan
not, bro.
He's played with him forever, and there was 2 crucial plays in the red zone where he's throwing behind him. And I don't know what you're expecting the receivers to do. And in Aaron Rodgers fashion, he's frustrated. It looks like he's projecting on everyone else. And the accountability. I loved it when the reporter asked him, what are you going to tell the team, to try and rally from 2-5? Oh, not to listen to you guys for one. He's just salty. He's
very salty. And I'm loving it so much. And I hate it because I like the Jets defense, but I'm loving this shit so much. Because so many people thought just because Aaron Rodgers was going to the Jets, maybe last year they might have had a chance, but after Achilles like that, like I'm still not trusting that leg. Like that could be messing up his accuracy.
Yeah, very well could be the poor footwork because it's in pain.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like he can not a whole ass football game. He can by the time that fourth quarter come around, them last 4 minutes, his shit is probably on fire still. You know what I'm saying? Like who knows what his Achilles actually feels like. He's gonna play, but that can. I've never seen Aaron Rodgers be this inaccurate like this. It's crazy to see 2-3 picks a game.
What really just makes me feel with the Jets, I feel a sense of, you deserve this because you decided to move on from Robert Saleh, and there was kind of a debate between it, like, oh, he's a bad coach, he hasn't done anything. Maybe that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen what he's been working? He had 4 games of Aaron Rodgers. You gave that man 4 games. He's given you 4 years, and that's what you sent him out with? I just think that's disrespectful. You gave him no time to mesh with the defense that was missing Hassan Reddick, who you thought, oh, yeah, let's trade for him. Then you say, all right, Aaron, because I'm sorry, anyone who says that Aaron Rodgers had no say in any of that,
man, please, right.
You're in denial. You're in denial. He's La Rodgers. That's what my new phrase is for him, La Rodgers. And Ronell's not happy about that one. He thinks it's a reach, but I'm like, hey.
It's not. You don't think
players have power? Yes.
Come on, man.
Top 3 player of all time, top 5 player of all time. He has pull in that locker room.
What? Absolutely. That's why Devontae Adams is there.
Exactly. And that's another thing. This man's making $800K this year. Oh, that looks good on paper. Guess what? Next year, $36 million. The year after, $36 million. Why are you paying another quarterback, essentially? That's ridiculous.
Like, your problem, I don't feel their problem. Yeah, they might have needed another receiver, but I don't think the Jets' problem was going to get a high-level receiver like that. Like, you were already at 2-4. You're at 2-5. The AFC is not easy.
Yeah. And what made you decide I'm going to do this right after I fire my head coach? Like,
come on now.
Like, why not at least, okay, before we fire our head coach, let's try a trade. Like,
it's just, I think Aaron Rodgers is just, it's fun. It's fun seeing him struggle like this. I'm not going to lie, after him dominating us like this, but I feel like it's a lot of fun. But I'm going to go back to these predictions real quick that we had. Well, not predictions, but I'm going to go back to how we feel, where we think the Bears can actually reach for their wins. Like I said, I think I had 10 or 11, and I feel like I'm still on pace for that because I had them 5-1 going into the bye. But if they fuck up this next 3 games, it's gonna be hard. But I still think we can still get to 10 and make the playoffs. Do you feel the same way?
My preseason prediction was them finishing 9-8.
Mm.
And I still think that that's going to be the case just because our second half schedule
It's brutal.
is the hardest in the NFL,
Yes.
as far as I'm concerned. So when you look at, and assuming the Niners kind of get back to form by then, and Seattle, they're capable of beating teams too. It's just that second half doesn't look pretty. It's going to be a really challenging second half. Now, having said that, do I think the Bears can make the playoffs even with 9 wins? Yeah, I think so. I think the NFC is enough of a toss-up.
Yeah,
the NFC West and the NFC South are just, honestly, every division besides the North and the NFC is kind of a mess when you think about it.
The Giants are bad. The Cowboys are bad. The Eagles is, we don't know. They're getting healthy, but they're still in disarray. Yeah, they're still in disarray. You got the Commanders, who I think are going to come back to earth a little bit. You got the Cardinals, awful. You got the Rams, you don't know. Niners, they hurt everywhere. Seahawks, they're good, but I'm not thinking of them as a great team. And the NFC South, Falcons, we don't know. They just got their head kicked in by the damn Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm starting to think the Buccaneers might take that division, and I have the Falcons going ahead of time.
Buccaneers getting destroyed right now by the Ravens, 34-10. You got the Panthers, who we just played. They're awful. The Saints, they're losing everybody left and right. They're awful. So it's like, I'm with you. 9 wins still may get you in the playoff as a 7th seed, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, just get there.
Because listen, I feel like the Super Bowl is probably going through Detroit or Minnesota, whoever wins this division.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even gonna say Minnesota because I think Minnesota's gonna come so far down.
Every year. Every year they get into the playoffs, they're losing in the first or second round. The last time they even got anywhere was what? The game they choked to the Saints?
That might be it.
That was the division round. They didn't even get past the division round. I mean,
you might be right about that.
They're just constantly on fraud watch, I feel like.
I think that they're good, but not like, I don't think they're 5-1 good or whatever, 6-1 good, whatever it is. But I think the Lions are for real. But I do think their defense is able to get points on. Now the offense is humming. Jared Goff will come back down to earth, but this is what happens. The point about the man. This is what happens when everybody wants a goddamn dome on their stadiums. The Lions play like 2 games outside.
Yeah. I mean,
like, what the fuck?
The advantage with kicking alone. I mean, when you're in a dome like that, and with Jared Goff, for him to kind of come back down to earth, I don't know that, because his games haven't been overwhelming with the passing yards necessarily.
What I mean by that is the like going 18 for 18 and shit like that, and you know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes it that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this continues. And I'll say it because Ben Johnson is a genius. He might be smarter than I think he's smarter than Kevin O'Connell. He's probably the second best play caller in the NFC North. Probably 5 in the NFC, maybe even top 3. Ben Johnson, man, and they pull out some fun plays.
They do, and guess what? We play them well, and I can't wait to play the goddamn Lions.
I know.
Cannot wait to play them.
That was one of the teams I think you said that you think we could split with the Lions, or you think we're sweeping them?
No, I said we're going to sweep Vikings. We're going to split with the Lions. And I feel like we can beat the Packers, but I have to see it before I can start predicting it.
Yeah. That's one that we're going to lose until further notice. It's just a curse at this point.
But I do think we can fuck around and get them at home in week 11. I think we can fuck around and win that one at home, but who knows? But that's crazy. We got, Packers, Vikings, Lions.
As much as we bitch and complain as Bears fans, the second half. this is the meat and potatoes of this season. We've been getting through all the vegetables, all those games. We're like, okay, we should win, but if we lose, it's detrimental. I'm ready to have those marquee matchups and just Thanksgiving, Bears Lions. I'm locked in.
I'm gonna tell you. I got a prediction for you.
Go ahead.
We're gonna split with everybody.
You think we split with everybody? I was telling a friend earlier. I will be so happy if the Bears even just go 2-4 in division games this year. If we go 3-3, it's a lock for the playoffs. You can't change my mind. If we
And
go
I still
3-3,
think, I still think we can sweep the Vikings. Sam Darnold does not scare me whatsoever.
Justin Jefferson does. Did you see his
He
numbers
does,
against
but
the Lions?
I think we can. And this shows, and Flus has showed us this.
Yeah.
Even when they had Kirk Cousins, like division games, unless it's the Packers, I get it, but division games, that shit go out the window, man. I think we play them well, the Lions and the Vikings well to the point I think we really can sweep the Vikings. Not the Lions. The Lions are the best team in the NFC, especially that offense. Losing Hutch sucks a lot for sure, but they probably got the best offensive line in football.
That was my preseason pick. I said
Brian Flores blitzed them 55% of the time, and Jared Goff had 2 incompletions. But if anybody can I don't like all that blitzing shit all the time. You having a blitz all the time just lets me know you can't stop us. So you have a smart person like Ben Johnson. He's gonna dial up a bunch of. He's gonna be dialing up shit to get you off your square. And we see you twice a year. You ain't gonna be able to 55 times. I mean, I know that Brian Flores is a blitzer anyway. He likes to blitz, but bro, that's crazy. That's like crazy.
I mean, and that's the thing too. I feel like the Vikings pass rush is really solid the way it is. Van Winkle has been very good on that team. A lot of people aren't too familiar with him, but I mean, I think he's got 2 interceptions on screenplays this year. So being able to identify those flats the way he does, very impressive. And then with the Vikings, they were my preseason pick. I think when we talked about who was going to go to the Super Bowl,
the Vikings.
Or no, not the Vikings. Sorry, the Lions. The Lions.
I was say, I don't remember that.
No. I had the Lions because I said, I think this is the year where their offense looks very reminiscent of the 49ers from the last 3 to 5 years, where they have an elite run game, which is something. They have 2 great running backs. They've got the elite offensive line. They've got a quarterback that I'm willing to say Jared Goff, he is an above average quarterback. He's a good quarterback. And like we said earlier, he's top 10. He has shown that he is a top 10 quarterback. And I mean, that was my pick for coming out of the NFC to face the Chiefs, ultimately to lose to the Chiefs. But what a fun matchup that would be. Spagnuolo versus Ben Johnson, the defensive genius and the offensive genius. That would be such a treat to watch for the Super Bowl. But I think Jared Goff, man, he's legit. And
no, he's playing some good ball, and the Lions are definitely humming over there. So it's gonna be exciting the rest of this season to see all this stuff play out. I really want to see if we can get all 4 teams from the NFC North into the playoffs. It hasn't happened yet because since it wasn't able to happen, but now with the extra team is able to happen. But real quick, like, how do you feel about the NFL as a whole, the product on the field? Like, before we get about it, like, I'm just looking, like, since we had a week to just watch football and just look at shit, it's just like, yo, there's a lot of teams that's in worse position than the Bears.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem with the NFL right now, at least in terms of a product, I don't really care for all the flags we've been seeing. I know they're trying to call cleaner games, and it's on the players to play cleaner games, but like at some point you are just making this just blown out of proportion. And I'm not even going to blame the refs fully for it, but I think it's on the players and the coaches. I don't know. Do they need to make penalties harsher? Do they need to add, yardage penalties for illegal formations, or, just increase them rather? I don't know how you can make players just abide more to the rules, because that's the thing too. It's as much as people are like, oh, the refs are throwing flags the whole game, nothing but flags on the field. At the end of the day, the refs can only make so many bad calls.
Yeah.
Truly. Like a lot of the plays are warranted to have flags thrown because guys just aren't lining up right. Guys are tackling in a fashion that they know is illegal. You know, two guys motioning. I feel like I've seen that so much this year where there's two guys motioning at the same time during the snap. And it's a lot, you know. I don't know how the NFL fixes that, but the first 2 or 3 weeks this year felt very slow, especially if you're a fantasy football player. You've got rosters and you're like, why are my guys not scoring double digits? This is infuriating. I feel like the last 2 to 3 weeks we've seen it kind of shift a little bit. So I don't know. I'm hoping it continues, this trend.
I hate the product on the field as far as for sure quarterback. I feel like a decade ago, I feel like even like not the bottom tier, but middle of the pack quarterbacks were exciting. Like middle of the pack quarterbacks now is just like it's so mad. Like think about like, yeah, granted, you don't want your quarterback to get hurt, but think about like the Dolphins. The Dolphins, you know, you got a quarterback. And speaking of Tua is insane. I don't want to like say no, I don't want to call him crazy, but he don't want to wear a guardian cap on his head. That's crazy, but
yeah,
that's another story for another day. But I think about the Dolphins. You know, you have a quarterback like Tua, and then you go into the offseason, you have this quarterback no one even knows, and now he has to play, and it's just bad product on the field. Like you mean to tell me there's not another quarterback that can be a backup that can, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's just, and then like you have teams reaching for quarterbacks. I get it because it's a quarterback league, but look how hard it was to find a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, you can find them. It's all about
Hard.
You go into rankings and it just becomes a whole mess. I mean, one thing while on the subject of quarterbacks, did you see the Patrick Mahomes plays yesterday against the Niners?
Yeah, I saw some of them. Yeah.
Did you see the one? And we had talked about this when the Bears played the Texans, and Caleb was running out of bounds, but he still got hit because he was kind of halfway in still. And, you know, in the moment, I was pretty irate, but then I look back at it and I'm like, Caleb, just go out of bounds.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen to you. Because Patrick Mahomes, and it's Patrick Mahomes' league, anything he does warrants a flag being thrown.
Yes.
Whenever a defender hits him or anything like that. He went to go run out of bounds to the left, and then one of the Niners linebackers or DBs, I forget who it was, he went to go tackle him, but then he kind of laid off a little bit because he saw him running out of bounds, and Patrick did a quick little juke and got like an extra 15 yards. That is going to tell people, hey, you'd rather almost take the flag at that point.
Yes.
If you're going to be giving up those extra yards, potentially even a touchdown, bring a team into the red zone, at that point, take the flag.
Just lay their ass out.
And it's one of those things that's been controversial today, and people are like, well, what did Pat do wrong? And, you know.
I don't think Pat did anything wrong. That's the problem. That's the thing. I think that's the point people are missing. Like, if the rules weren't working like they were, Pat Mahomes wouldn't have never been able to do that because that defender would have never slowed up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Pat, he playing within the rules. Like, fuck it, I know this dude ain't gonna hit me, so I'm gonna try to get some more yards. But that's the problem. This is football. This time we're not playing tag or flag. And so it's like, listen, either you're gonna commit to go out of bounds or you can't. It's kind of like that play when Kenny Pickett in college did like the fake slide.
Yeah, a lot of people were referencing that today.
Oh, they were. I didn't even know they was.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they were doing that. But see what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of like the same thing because like that's like an advantage for you because you know if as a defender, you know as a quarterback, if you about to slide, they're gonna stop. So if you fake slide, they're done running, you're gonna keep going. And you as Pat Mahomes, you go to the sideline, you see a linebacker or a corner stop. You just go. You didn't go out of bounds yet. You can sense them slowing down. So you're just gonna keep going like he did. That was like almost 20 more yards. You know what I'm saying?
And then there was somebody, I forget his name, but he was on the Niners and he was jacked. I'll send you a Twitter or a tweet of it later, but he was absolutely jacked. And then they show a picture of Pat Mahomes with his dad bod and his gut hanging out. And he laid this motherfucker out. It was crazy. I'm like, Pat, you're like that? Okay. Just a brick house.
No, that's good football. See, I like that. See what I'm saying? Like, look how he laid his shoulder as a quarterback. You should be able to hit these dudes. Like, I'm not saying yes, protect, but it getting to the point where it's getting to be too much.
Yeah. And
you think other quarterbacks is not going to? I mean, I know people understand like this is Pat Mahomes, so if you even breathe on him, it's going to be a penalty. But still, like he already got an advantage. Do you think other quarterbacks is not going to try that shit?
Absolutely. I mean, and I don't know. My whole thing behind it too is like, I wish the league would almost not call those plays flags when, a quarterback's running out. And, they didn't when it was Caleb. But I feel like when you're a certain quarterback of a certain status, you know that you're going to get that flag called if someone hits you. And I almost wish that you didn't get that because you're the quarterback. It's your job to protect yourself. It's your job to make a decision. Am I staying in or am I running out of bounds?
Yep.
9 times out of 10, you should be running out of bounds in that situation.
Yes.
So
yes, I don't care how big of a quarterback you are. Get your ass out of bounds.
Why are other players being penalized for your lack of responsibility? It makes no sense.
Yes. Let me see. Anything?
Trade predictions. Trade deadlines.
You know what? 5th. We can talk about that real quick. We get about here. I want to talk about Justin real quick, but the trades. I was thinking about that. And I don't like people, something like Max Crosby. That's going to be ridiculous. But I feel like right now, I'm at a point. I was jacked up. If you'd asked about this shit last week, I'd be like, man, go trade for this or that. And I had time to think about it. I'm like, man, I just want this to see what this team can do with this roster. Now, if they want to make some trades, well, I think Poles will, because Poles I feel like he's been active every trade deadline. But I feel like if he's going to do some for depth or something like that. Now, if he go out and swing big and go get a goddamn, I've seen Trayvon Walker from the Jaguars. I've seen that being linked to the Bears. I don't know what I want to give up. Are you gonna feel like Max Crosby?
Too rich for my blood right now.
Too rich for my thank you. Too rich for
He's one of my favorite DNs in the league right now. I love his character. I love his swagger to him that he has. He's a grade A shit talker.
Yes.
He would be a perfect Bear, but it's almost like right person, wrong time. If this was like the Bears 2 years into Caleb Williams and, we have the assets, we have the roster we're trying to get, I almost think that Ryan Poles is going to be a little more conservative this time around with the trade deadline. There was talks about it is funny because before I get into what we're talking about with what he might be doing, there was people saying that Myles Garrett because he's unhappy with the Deshaun situation in Cleveland, and there's something about his contract that would make him cheaper than Max Crosby at the moment. And again,
I do think the Browns should sell everybody though. But go ahead.
Absolutely, I still think he's going to be too rich for what we're willing to give up. I kind of like your idea of, seeing what this roster can do. Yeah. And honestly, there's talks about the Bears dealing away Khalil Herbert, dealing away Nate. Oh my God, what am I blanking?
Nate Davis.
Thank you. And those would be small moves. I really don't know what you'd get for those guys.
I don't want to trade away Khalil Herbert because I like the depth at running back because anything can happen. Now,
if you trade him, DeAndre is going to get hurt.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that. Like, I know you want to get picks or you want to get like some collateral since he might just walk in the offseason. I don't think they're going to bring him back, but man, that would be a tough one. I mean, I guess you can bring up somebody from the practice squad or somebody who's inactive or something like that for a third string running back or whatever you want to call it. But I think they might do something small. I hope they do nothing big because now we had like everybody we need on the O line. Like, I don't think we have our left tackle of the future yet. I really don't. That might be Darnell Wright. They might be moving him to the left. They could be moving him to left tackle. You never know.
Yeah.
But if we had everything, like I compared this situation kind of like to the Mac trade. So like when we got Mac, we traded like 2 first-round picks, a second round, a fourth, or some crazy shit like that. So now it's like, if you want to trade for someone like Max, is Max better in this point than what Mac was? Because are you going to give up more than, you know what I'm saying? Like, it can't do the same, because I know that's the same roster, but it's kind of like in the same situation.
Yeah.
But if we, like you said, if we're 2 years into this with Caleb already, run that trade. Give me, you know.
It's a great win now move, but you'd be foolish to make this trade when you're playing in the division that you're playing in. I mean,
and I don't want Bears fans to like get antsy if the Lions or the Vikings make a trade. Like, I heard about Max Crosby being linked to the Lions because of the Aiden Hutchinson.
yeah,
But the way that GM rolls over there, I can't really see him selling the farm for them for that right now. Even though they are in the win now, I get it. I definitely get it. But if they do make that trade, hey, let them win that trade. They are in another step of their development than we are.
Yeah, they're ready to make a trade like that. Max Crosby would fit Detroit like a glove.
Yes, he would.
If you've got him and Aiden next year, I'm sorry. We're not winning for the next 3 years at least. Because
like I don't want to panic, but you don't panic if you see them making those deals, because let them panic. We got a roster where we're trying to figure shit out. We still gonna have shit to add. So like I said, I think Poles is gonna be active, but not like active like going for some no big fish. But I would just like to ask, I don't know what you can add. You can add more depth.
I have a request. This is a personal wish list. Ryan Poles, if you somehow were to get this and see one of your fans here trying to daydream about what a trade like this could look like, I would really like to see Quentin Nelson from the Colts come to the Bears. I don't think he would be a game changer necessarily, but man, do I think he would give our offensive line and our pass protection just a higher floor in general for Caleb.
He would be a game changer, but why would the Colts are? You already got a quarterback who's already half dead running around out there talking about Anthony Richardson, my God. But then you got Flacco, so you're gonna need that O line. So I can't see and you already got Jonathan Taylor hurt over there. So, but what would they want for him? I don't even know his contract, but a guard. That's the thing. I feel like Quentin Nelson is making like $20 million a year.
That's my thing. I'm just like, I would like to see them just kind of, maybe they shed some money from their, payroll a little bit. And then, I don't know. Would you give up the Carolina pick for Quentin Nelson? Let's say you give up the Carolina pick in a fourth.
Ooh, it just really depends on the money. And how old is Quentin Nelson? And it's like, can I find my left guard in the draft? Because ain't he a left guard? He's not even a tackle. That's the thing. That's another.
Yeah, but I feel like our guard play has been very mediocre until we've had Matt Pryor switch to guard.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's 28 years old, still got some years in him. I'd say he's at least got 5 to 6 years at a minimum.
What's the contract?
Let me look at his.
It's all about that contract. I mean, I know Caleb not going to get paid for another 5 years, 6 years.
He is halfway through his contract. It was a 4-year, $80 million contract. You'd be paying him $20 million a year. But if a team's got money, it's the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just kind of where I'm at with it. I'd like to see us build this O-line a little bit. Maybe because I've been all on the side of 2 of our first picks better be offensive line. If you make a trade like this, okay, you're already going to have him, and maybe you go and get a James Pierce edge rusher. Maybe you go and add to that defense, or maybe you just kind of bolster the offensive line. Regardless, I don't think the Bears are going to make trades to add to the defense. Also, real quick, I just got the notification here, and I think it's warranted. Jameson Williams is facing a 2-game suspension for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing substances policy.
Wow.
As we're gassing him up, Jay. As we're gassing him up.
That's right. I'm gassing them up, and here we go with breaking news. Why we? I cannot believe I was gassing the Lions, but man, listen, I'm gonna be. I ain't gonna be that type of person that's hate for no reason. Like they're playing great ball, man. You can't even deny they're playing great ball. As much shit the fans been talking, they playing great ball over in Detroit. So it's just, yeah, it sucks. But I mean, they're gonna miss dude for 2 games. I would love for them to lose the next 2 games. I would love that.
Yeah,
but it's not gonna happen. I mean, he's a piece of the team, but that ain't gonna happen. The Lions they're such a well-oiled machine right now. But back to our trades. I'm with you, man. I don't think they're gonna do no trades for like no defense. I think it had to be some on offense, but I don't even know. I feel like honestly, now I keep thinking about it and talking through this with you. I think Poles might just hold pat and just keep his draft picks. If anything, he might trade away to get more.
Yeah, I mean, I think I will not be upset if Nate Davis goes somewhere else.
Hell no, I wouldn't. No,
I like take whatever you can get for him at this point.
Bayless Jones as well.
Yeah, he's another one, man. Frustrates the hell out of me.
Shout out to Poles and Eberflus. Like I know they really like Nate Davis, and no, I wouldn't say really like Nate Davis, but they really like Bayless Jones. But the fact that they say, you know what, bro, you're not doing enough. He's been sitting down since game 1, right? He hasn't been active since game 1. So I have to shout out to them. Like a lot of times organizations don't sitting them down is kind of like admitting that I was wrong or trading for Nate Davis. I was wrong for going to get Bayless Jones, and I was wrong for doubling and tripling down on keep starting them and bringing them back, because I think this past offseason teams wanted him for like a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
You're not getting that shit now.
And I mean, just to think, you just picked up Keenan Allen for a 4th, and you mean to tell me that you could have gotten that made back up for trading away Bayless Jones of all people?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting. I just don't want them to like do no. I don't like panic trades, because what are we panicking for? Yeah. Or a rush trade. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not done building this. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
Real quick, just right as we are wrapping it up here, I will say, let me ask, who is going to be the breakout player for this game coming up against the Commanders? Who is going to have themselves a ball game?
Keenan Allen.
You think Keenan Allen again? Okay.
Yeah. I think he's going to have another one.
I'm going to predict Rome Odunze. I think
I like that.
Deserves it. This man was picked with top 10 capital. He has had only 1 game where he's gotten more than like 4 or 5 targets. Please, for all that is holy, get him some targets before he starts throwing a Stephon Diggs or.
I don't think so, because he can't do that. But look, I think if you see how many Caleb throws the ball 28 times, 25 times. If Odunze get 5 of them, if DJ get 8 targets, if he get 5 of them, if Komet gets 6 of them, you know what I'm saying? I think it's even.
Yeah,
I think it's even. I
want to see him feast.
No, I get you.
It's not just because I have him in 3 dynasty leagues. I swear to God, it's not. But I just want to see, because I know he's capable of.
No, he is. No, it is. It's just right now. It's just you got Swift you can throw to. You got DJ. You got Keenan. You got Cole Komet you can throw to. Lord, God forbid, if Gerald Evers out there too, he can throw to him the ball. So it's just so many. But if Odunze was getting like 1 or 2 targets, that would suck. But I feel like at 5, 6, that's good. But
I just want to see him eat for 1 game.
Me too. I would love for him to get like 6 catches, be like a 6, 7 catches at $120, a touchdown or 2.
Just show me what he did against the Colts, right? Wasn't it the Colts? He had a monster game.
Yeah, he did. I do think Caleb is going to have a big game. I think he's going to have over 300 yards.
Over 300 yards. How many touchdowns?
3.
3 touchdowns, 300 yards. I like it.
No picks. I don't think he had
You
no
think he has
picks.
a clean game again?
You have a clean game.
Or no, he didn't have one last time. He threw a
Yeah,
pick.
that was just that one pass. He just got too cute on that pick to DJ, but he can make that pass. So I'm not really stressing about that one.
I love that after a 4 touchdown performance, they asked him, what are your takeaways from the game? And immediately he's like, that pick was horrible.
It was.
Held himself accountable. It's almost like he did the anti-Aaron Rodgers interview. Like he just owned it. And I gotta love that from a young rookie.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right before we get up out of here, man, Justin Fields is not getting that job back.
You don't think so?
No. You look at the touch that Russ had on them passes. That's the thing. I feel like that's the one thing that's really killed Justin to keep that job. He doesn't throw the ball with any touch, so everything is the same speed, so it's never, slowed down. So I really think that's what's really. I'm not saying he's never going to be in the NFL again. He's too talented for that. Like he has a skill set, but this is still a passing league, man. They want you to throw that bitch down the field. They want you to score touchdowns instead of running around and doing shit like that. But once again, we're right in this Justin saga. Once again, we're not trying to hate on nobody. We just want y'all. Listen, I just told somebody this before we get about. I told somebody this, man. Listen, I watched every game. I'm a Bears fan.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch. I didn't want to watch it, but I watched it. There's no way you were watching. You can't tell me about. You can't just go off your tape that you watched or a few clips or throws of Justin. Like we watch this shit every Sunday. Yeah. And guess what? He does have like those games. He does have those games where he's like, man, see, I told you he can do that because he got us last year with that.
Yeah.
People don't remember the Bears led the league in scoring for 4 weeks.
Like, yeah, and I mean in 2022 when he had his breakout, he's approaching Lamar Jackson's rushing.
Yeah, it's like he has that, but it's certain things that caps him as being your starting quarterback on a Super Bowl team or a playoff team. Like it's certain things he just don't do well that you need a quarterback to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's just not. I'm gonna always root for him, but I think it's just. When you like people try to, because everybody, I don't feel like there's nobody who dislikes Justin personality. Like, I think it's hard to do that, but when you like somebody, you want to root for them, and it's just, man, we get to be to the same two teams and fan bases and teams are saying the same thing. Come on, man. We can't be lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
So, but, man, it's been a good episode, man. I appreciate everybody still. People been asking, like, man, what the Bears probably like? We're going to be back, man. So the fact that y'all asking them questions, I love that y'all asking that. So we will be back. We are back. Our man's David's going to be getting married soon. So he all over the place getting stuff done.
Yeah,
so
it has been a lot. The socials have been very inconsistent. But
so it's getting down
once
to
we get past, big day coming up Saturday. We got a lot on the horizon here.
Yeah, so you do. So till next week. Sure, we're gonna be back for a Bears victory. Real quick, what's the Bears prediction score for you? Who you got?
I think the Bears score over 30 for the second time this season. For the third time this season. And so I think I'm gonna go 35-17.
Ooh, I like that. I was gonna go 36. I was gonna go 36-21.
36-21. Okay.
36-21, 36-20, something like that. I think our defense is head and shoulders better than their defense, and they keep losing people on defense. So I think we're gonna get a couple of turnovers. We're gonna force a couple of turnovers. We're gonna be all over the place. I think we're gonna win 36-20, 21. Yeah.
Absolutely. Man.
We're gonna be come back to a victory Monday. So until next week, man, this is Jay and Dave with y'all Bears Weekly, man. Peace.